Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A breaking story at the University of Miami where a federal investigation is underway.
Information obtained exclusively by Channel 4 News points to alleged irregularities in student loans, and Channel 4's Ned Smith has learned the athletic department could be involved. Ned joins us in the newsroom. Ned?
Susan, as we first told you at 5 o'clock, there is an investigation underway into alleged financial aid fraud at the University of Miami. Fraud that may have resulted in illegal payments of grant money to 30 or more students, including athletes, over the last 3 years. The U.S. Department of Education, the U.S. Attorney General's Office, and the FBI have been conducting the investigation over the past 10 weeks. It centers around Tony Russell, a former employee in the school's financial aid department whose office was in the athletic department. Russell allegedly falsified these student financial aid reports so they could qualify for federal Pell Grants reserved for needy students. Starting basketball player Hammy Ward, my sources tell me, was one of the athletes receiving a grant. So was golfer Steve Polchis. Late today, we asked Hammy Ward about the allegations.
I have no comment right now.
Do you know that you're under investigation?
No comment. Just get in touch with John Hahn.
Okay, we will. Do you know that was your girlfriend the one who turned
No.
No? Did she take any money? Did you get extra money from Tony Russell?
No comment, ma'am.
The University of Miami was informed of the improprieties by an athletic department official who overheard another uninvolved athlete talking about the scam. Late today, the university released a statement which in part read, "After this discovery, the University of Miami immediately began an internal investigation. The university is cooperating fully with federal authorities. The investigation revealed that some of those involved may be student athletes. So the NCAA has also been notified. A half hour ago, we got this response from Sam Jankovich, who was athletic director at the time.
I believe that it's a most unfortunate finding, and I am amazed that Tony Russell would have any access to financial aid whatsoever. Knowing the University of Miami and Tad Foote's commitment to compliance of NC2A and all federal rules, I know that they will conduct a very thorough investigation, and that I personally and professionally will cooperate in any way possible.
The NCAA told us they are aware of the investigation and said they do not know what their next step would be. UN President Tad Foote was unavailable for comment. Russell's motive apparently was cash kickbacks he allegedly received from those students he got the illegal grants for. We'll continue to update you on the story. My colleague Katrina Daniel is standing by now live at the University of Miami. Katrina, what's the latest out there?
Well, Ned, I'm outside the Ash Administration Building at the University of Miami, and there are no administrators here right now willing to talk to us about this or anything else for that matter. As you just said, we did try to get a hold of Tad Foote. We also tried to get a hold of David Lieberman, who is the Assistant Vice President in charge of Business and Financial Affairs. Unsuccessfully, neither man has returned our calls. We're trying to track them down right now, but we were able to talk to some students about this.
Well, this is ridiculous. I mean, there's so many people that really do need the money, and they shouldn't, forge anything to, get to school. There's a lot of needy people out there.
I think it's terrible that it might be happening. I think that perhaps people should actually use financial assistance, talk to the departments and find out the legal way of doing, finding loans and finding a way to get through school properly.
For me, I don't know, it's being an international student, I'm kind of shocked about this news. I think that they should come down and investigate this full force, and it's kind of unfair for other people.
This is certainly not the only scandal the University of Miami and the athletic department here have been involved in the past few years. However, if these charges are proven true, it could cost the school a whole lot more than a few bad headlines and news stories. Susan.
Katrina, Ned, thank you. We will continue our comprehensive coverage on this breaking story with instant updates throughout the night and at 11 on the Channel 4 News Nightcast. Tom?
He started out as merely a man wanted for questioning in connection with gunning down a Miami Springs cop. Tonight, Alonzo Sims is behind bars thousands of miles away and now considered a murder suspect. Channel 4's Dave Bloom is standing by in Sacramento, California, where Sims was picked up by police on unrelated charges. Dave?
Well, that's right, Tom. It was at this apartment complex in Sacramento, California, that Merritt Alonzo Sims was arrested yesterday morning. Now, this afternoon, Sims made his first local court appearance. The 24-year-old Miami man told a Sacramento judge that he could not afford to hire his own attorney, and thus a court-appointed attorney was given to him, and he'll make his next court appearance next Monday. Now, so far, no charges in connection with the Miami Springs police officer murder. It was here in this Sacramento apartment that police say Merritt Alonzo Sims had been hiding out with this woman, Renee Collin, his girlfriend.
Get away from me. Did you know that you're... Apparently some information was received from Miami to our department here that he might be headed this way because his girlfriend lives here. So yesterday morning, about 7:45 in the morning, they went to his girlfriend's apartment, which is on Polk Street, and they found him in her apartment at that time.
Metro-Dade police now confirm that the 24-year-old Sims is a suspect in the murder of Miami Springs police officer Charles Stafford, gunned down last week while he was trying to pull over this car, which police believe Sims may have stolen from his cousin. Sims has not been charged in the murder, but authorities here in California say both he and his girlfriend have been questioned by Metro-Dade homicide investigators who flew to Sacramento after yesterday's arrest. Now Sims, now a murder suspect in Miami, will next appear in court, as we said, on Monday, or at least that's when he's now scheduled to appear in court. We'll have more on this breaking story tonight at 11 o'clock on Channel 4 News. Back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Dave, for that live report from Sacramento. Well, tonight, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has released startling statistics about crime against Florida officers. Just last year in Florida, 5 officers and 1 sworn investigator died in the line of duty. That's up 3 from 1989. More than 11,000 assaults were committed against lawmen and women last year. Of those, 43% resulted in injuries to the officer.
Police say 2 gunmen hired to kill a man killed 2 people, the wrong ones. And tonight, 3 people are behind bars. Police say Pasquale Patfino hired 2 men, Eddie Kirkland and Simon Henriksen, to kill a man who owed him money. The 2 gunmen went to the Pompano apartment where they thought that man lived and found Edward Baum and Linda Brown instead.
The 2 people who were killed just happened to be former roommates of the intended victim. They shouldn't have been killed.
Tonight, the 3 men remain behind bars, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Heavyweight boxer Trevor Berbick swapping his boxing gloves for a set of handcuffs. Just yesterday, he was arrested in Miramar on sexual battery and burglary charges. He is accused of raping the woman who babysat his children. Tonight, a judge denied him bond, ordering him to be transferred to the Dade County Jail. And that is where Berbick will stay until he stands trial.
Well, Susan, state agents tonight saying very little about the latest action in their probe into judicial corruption. They're still sorting through boxes of files seized last week, and last night 3 luxury cars were towed from the driveways of 2 judges and a former judge. Agents suspect the cars belonging to Roy Gelbert, David Goodart, and Alfonso Seppi might have been purchased with the proceeds of criminal activity. The criminal activity of Manuel Noriega was allegedly more extensive than first thought. Documents released tonight claim the former Panamanian dictator was behind dozens of drug and weapons shipments, allowing cocaine cartels to operate freely in his country. No decision tonight on whether federal prosecutors will file additional charges.
The wave of pretrial publicity in the alleged Kennedy rape case may have crested. The lawyers and cops involved in the case have been ordered to be quiet until the trial is over. Palm Beach Judge Mary Lupo issued the gag order late this afternoon against the objections of prosecutors and various media groups. Earlier today, charges and countercharges thrown around the courtroom as attorneys for William Kennedy Smith seek to have rape charges against him dropped. Smith's defense counsel says police and prosecutors may have provided information to the alleged victim and that she changed her story. On the other hand, prosecutors suggest Senator Kennedy and his son Patrick had their depositions reworded and retyped to conform to their version of events the night of March 30th, when the alleged attack occurred at the Kennedys' Palm Beach estate. A gag order also being sought in the brutal murder of 2 University of Florida students. Just weeks ago, Alan Robert Davis was charged in the strangulation of 2 college students. Now his lawyer claims comments by police and prosecutors have jeopardized Davis's chance for a fair trial. In another development in the case, a psychologist has been called in to determine if Davis is even competent to stand trial.
A trial date has been set in the child abuse murder case of baby lollipops. Ana Maria Cardona is accused of torturing, starving, and beating her child to death. Little Lazaro Figueroa's body was found last December on Miami Beach. Cardona's alleged lover, Olivia Gonzalez, is also charged in the brutal slaying. Both will stand trial November 4th. A man charged with dumping hazardous waste has a chance of getting out of jail while he waits for trial. H.G. Spencer Smith was charged with racketeering after his company was accused of dumping hydrochloric acid in a West Dade well field and held under an unusually high $1 million bond. Today, the judge reduced the bond to $50,000.
An oil spill today polluting the mangroves along the coast near Port Everglades. Environmental reporter Nick Bogert is at the port right now with the latest update. Nick?
Susan, we are aboard the good ship Sea Tow, and we've been looking over the operations around the freighter Golden Hill. Perhaps you can see behind the freighter, you can see a barge and a tugboat. That's where they're pumping out oil. Mostly it's oil that's been collected around the ship. Perhaps you can see at the end of the ship a protective boom that's been lowered there to try and keep the oil in the right place. And also, as we move up the ship, perhaps you can see those black vertical stripes, which are the signs of a sloppy refueling operation that slopped bunker C fuel oil over the side of the freighter Golden Hill.
When the vessel was being refueled from a tank barge, that someone made a mistake on the ship itself and allowed one of the tank was being filled to overflow.
Spill response was pretty quick. Floating boom was laid out in the port channel to try to prevent oil from escaping. Absorbent pads were strung out along some shoreline to try to soak up oil, but a lot of the black gooey stuff got out anyway.
It's so dry and sticky, you can't do anything with it right now.
Oil-soaked mangroves could well die, and so could birds and small animals that walk among them. That has wildlife rescuers in the odd position of having to scare in order to save.
And we'll be frightening them, making noises, setting off horns and trying to keep them away.
Most beachgoers stayed away from John U. Lloyd State Park after rangers there advised against swimming, even though jet black ribbons of oil and oil whipped into a white froth by boat propellers were still a mile offshore. Ashley Perry saw it when she went into the water.
There's kind of oil right over there and two of them right there.
Even if it hadn't come ashore when Ashley was going swimming, Broward beachgoers are very likely to see some tar balls on the beach over the next couple of days. Now, as for these ships, basically the Coast Guard says it doesn't know yet whether it was the freighter or the oil tanker that was loading it full of fuel last night that made the mistake. They're going to be investigating that. In the meantime, they have said that this freighter cannot leave port until they make a determination. Back to you, Susan and Tom.
Okay, thanks very much, Nick. If you were caught in some thunder bumpers today, you are not alone. Brian has the weather word later at 6.
Plus, a devastating day for baseball's Dave Dravecki, cancer forcing amputation.
Plus, some new plans for a Miami landmark. What they are when Channel 4 News continues.
I'm Marianne Murciano. Would you believe a giant skunk ape is stalking South Florida? My Focus report, Urban Rumors, next at 6.
Channel 4 News at 6 is sponsored in part by Nutrisystem Weight Loss Centers.
Recently, Healthline magazine compared 16 popular diets. And you know what? Only Nutrisystem got a perfect score. Not Jenny Craig, not Weight Watchers. Only Nutrisystem. What does that mean to you? This is what it means.
Now lose all the weight you can at Nutrisystem and pay only $10 per week for program services. Call 1-800-344-THIN.
It's here now. A special offer direct from the factory. The Southern Edition 50th Anniversary Jeep Cherokee. Not $18,000, not even $16,000, but today only $14,879 with air conditioning at no extra charge and loaded with lots of equipment. Automatic transmission, 190 horsepower, sport wheels, console, and much more. All for this great low price and air for free. Act today. Get this Southern Edition Cherokee at your Florida Jeep and Eagle dealer. Remember, only a limited supply available.
Douglas, Edwards, Burton, and Rice, all Heat draft picks and all members of the official NBA All-Rookie teams. Heat pick Ronnie Cycli was the NBA's most improved player in 1990. Who will be the Heat's next building block? Find out Wednesday, June 26th at 7:30 p.m. at Miami Arena. Watch the draft unfold on 4 huge video screens and enter the Voice Your Choice contest of the Miami Herald and win a trip to Chicago to see the Heat play the Bulls. Make plans now and join us at the Heat Miller Genuine Draft Party, June 26th at 7:30. The Heat is on.
Are you paying to cool rooms in your house you never use? FPL can help you pay for improved ceiling insulation. For details, call us. We're here to help. Window tinting can make your home less expensive to cool. FPL can even help pay to install it. For details, call us. We're here to help.
My daughter Wendy said to me, Dad, I think you've got to come up with some new kind of foods. Be different. Get on the cutting edge. She may be right. So I had an idea for a special chicken sandwich.
Introducing Wendy's Chicken Cordon Bleu, a boneless breast of chicken, ham, Swiss cheese, Grey Poupon, and mayonnaise on a toasted Kaiser bun.
That looks delicious.
Hey, Dad, where are you?
In the kitchen, on a cutting edge.
Try the new Chicken Cordon Bleu sandwich at Wendy's for a limited time.
Tamiami Chrysler Plymouth is having a $1 over dealer cost sale. Tamiami Saab is having a $1 over dealer cost sale. Tamiami Alfa Romeo is having a $1 over dealer cost sale. And now Tamiami is also Tamiami Jeep Eagle. And you guessed it, Tamiami Jeep Eagle is having a $1 over dealer cost sale. Every Chrysler Plymouth, Saab, Alfa Romeo, and Jeep Eagle are now only $1 over dealer cost. Come to Tamiami's Jeep Eagle grand opening celebration today.
She's the most popular, most bankable female star in Hollywood, and her dream marriage was to have been the wedding of the decade. Now, on the next Entertainment Tonight, we've got the inside story on why Julia Roberts' career is at an all-time high, but her personal life is suddenly full of turmoil. Her new film has been called her most daring ever, but will she manage to put her own life back together? Get the exclusive inside story only on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Entertainment Tonight, weeknights at 7:30, only on Channel 4. From your 24-hour news source, Channel 4 News continues.
Baseball star Dave Dravecky is asking for your prayers tonight. The former Major League pitcher underwent surgery in New York, losing his left arm to cancer. Doctors first diagnosed the disease in 1988, removing a tumor from Dravecky's muscle, saying he would never pitch again. 10 months later, Dravecky threw 7 shutout innings for the San Francisco Giants. Dravecky agreed to have his arm amputated because he was in severe pain. Doctors say he's doing well tonight. Doctors tonight warn epidemics could be in the works because a third of Florida's toddlers have not been immunized against dangerous childhood diseases. There's been a steady increase in the number of children contracting easily preventable illnesses, such as diphtheria, measles, and mumps. Officials say parents seem to be ignoring their warnings.
More bad news for parents. The cost of college education is going up in Florida. The Board of Regents is hiking tuition at the state universities. Florida residents will pay 15% more, around $1,500 a year, while out-of-state students will shell out nearly 4 times that amount, thanks to a 25% hike. Now, the cost of living could be going up in Key Biscayne as well. Voters last night approved a new charter, which makes the Key its own city. Key Biscayne must now set up a town council, police force, and fire department. The city of Miami can now set up a performing arts center. Sears and Roebuck donating 4 acres of land on Biscayne Boulevard as the site. Preservation is hoped to save the property's landmark Art Deco building by making it part of a large cultural complex. The donation ends wild speculation about possible plans for the site.
Sometimes the stories you hear are too wild to be true, but they are filled with so much detail that you almost have to believe these urban rumors. In tonight's Focus Report, Channel 4's Marianne Murciano is live in our Miami newsroom to tell us why the legends become even more believable when they take place right in your own backyard. Marianne?
Susan, these are stories that not only sound like they could happen, but they occur in places you're familiar with, so you don't just want to believe them, you almost have to believe them.
It might not frighten you to walk through the woods in the Everglades, but maybe it should.
Came over on the other side, and he's about 7 to 8 foot tall, and he weighed about 500 or 600 pounds. And he was a little bit taller than those trees right there.
He walks like a man, looks like an ape, and smells like a skunk. And this skunk ape roamed through South Florida in the 1970s.
Such a creature as the abominable snowman, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, and if you wish to call it skunk ape, I'm firmly convinced that such creatures do exist.
Try to prove it. No one can prove there are Martians either, but
We now return you to Carl Phillips at Grover's Mill.
at least that's what panicked radio listeners all across the country when Orson Welles recreated War of the Worlds as a realistic radio show.
Came rather as a great surprise to us that a story about a mythical invasion by monsters from the planet Mars should have had so profound an effect upon radio listeners.
But it did, and so did this broadcast that brought terror to Miami.
Good evening, everybody. The government of the city of Miami is in the hands of the people tonight.
It was during the Kennedy years that Ralph Rennick announced communists had taken over. The pictures proved it.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the truth. We've been taken over by a totalitarian...
Thousands of viewers panicked. It was intended as a dramatization, but the end result was the same as the Orson Welles ordeal. People believed it.
But the rumors really hit close to home when you've got a time, a date, and a place. Like the one about ghosts. Here.
Well, there's always been a rumor that the Biltmore has had some ghosts left over from the 20s when a gangster was murdered there, and there were some robberies there in the 20s, some big-time things, and people have said they've seen them.
But you don't have to be a historian to know about the evils of the Biltmore ghost.
It's a story that people get killed by a ghost.
One persistent rumor is that Fidel Castro slept in this house on the corner of Northwest 22nd Avenue and 7th Street. But you might as well say George Washington and George Bush did too, because it just ain't so.
It's a great old rock house, and that's been around for a long time as a story. Even though he had been in town briefly to raise money for his revolution in the 1950s, he had not spent the night there.
Talk about spending the night with someone. Here's a guy who picks up a woman at a bar and sleeps with her. The next day, wakes up to find she's gone, but has left a cryptic message on the bathroom mirror.
The moral of the story is don't have one-night stands, so it supports our moral position.
The experts say urban rumors do more than support our moral position. They reflect our fears and anxieties, but the common thread is that none of them are true. Next time you hear a wild story, track it down. See if you can find a victim. I'll bet you'll never get closer than a friend of a friend. Back to you in the studio,
The old
Susan.
friend of a friend. Thanks, Marianne, for that live report from our Miami newsroom. Rumors about a pet cemetery in New York turned out to be true, and that has led to a search in South Florida. FBI agents say the Long Island Pet Cemetery accepted millions of dollars from bereaved pet owners to cremate their animals. But instead, the pets were dumped into mass graves, the foul odor finally attracting attention. 3 people have been arrested, but agents are still trying to locate one of the owners, Samuel Strauss of Boca Raton.
North Dade's Joe Robbie Stadium could be transformed to a dome stadium. That's right. Wayne Huizenga is assuring baseball officials he would cover the facility if the weather turns out to be too soggy for afternoon games. Huizenga will own the new National League franchise team set to start swinging in 1993. He is promising other team owners he won't let South Florida's summer showers cause rainouts. And maybe that domed stadium might not be such a bad idea. We've been seeing some showers off and on.
Yeah, but we don't have it bad here. The west coast of the state is where they really have it bad.
So Wayne can save his money.
I think Wayne's going to be all right.
Wayne?
Take a look outside. The rains have ended here downtown. It's actually going to be a nice evening near the coast. 79 now at 6 o'clock. Feels like 84 with the humidity at 74%. Winds out of the west at 8. And 0.62 inches of rain fell here downtown. Official temperatures at 6 o'clock show you as 81 at the airport, 84 on the beach, 80 at West Palm, 78 at Kendall, and still some rain in the western sections, and 89 and steamy down at Key West. Here's a Clearview radar. I'll show you the showers around. You notice they're mostly in the western sections of the county. From right out here, extreme western Dade up into the Glades. Still a few showers, though, in the eastern parts of Broward County. Big Sat looks like this today. You see on the satellite picture lots and lots of clouds and showers along the coast here, right in this area here. Now watch as we go through the day today. You see lots of moisture continues to feed on up. Temperatures around the country look real warm down here in the south. Lots of 90s, 80s pushing up into the east coast, but notice only 66 up there in the northeast. Lots of storms continuing tonight all through the south, some showers, and then we get some sunshine moving in. Tomorrow, we hang in here, more thunderstorms and 90s throughout the south, and more thunderstorms once again in the middle of the country. For us, we look like this. For the boaters, southeast winds 10 to 15, going to tend to push the storms more inland. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Bay waters a moderate chop, and a surf temperature at 85. Tonight, looks like any evening storms will be dying on out. 76 tomorrow, up to 91. But more storms inland than along the coast. Your 4 more days will hold that forecast all the way through the weekend. That's it. We'll see you tonight. Now here's Susan.
Thanks, Brian. Finally tonight, 3 Texas inmates had more than flossing their teeth in mind when they hoarded hundreds of yards of dental floss from the jail store. The prisoners braided the stuff to make an escape ladder. Officials say the trio sawed through the jail windows, then made their getaway, but they didn't get far before they were caught. Sounds like a rumor. Did you hear the one about the inmates who flossed their way to freedom?
But you know what?
It's true.
I bet those folks had some very clean teeth.
Yes, they probably did.
And with that, we say goodnight. We thank you for joining us. NBC Nightly News is heading your way next.
We're going to see you again at 11 for the Channel 4 News Nightcast. Take care.
Good night.